Okay, here's a wild thought for you. What if I told you that a janitor could actually be better with money than a Harvard-educated finance executive? Today, we're going to crack open the big ideas from Morgan Housel's The Psychology of Money, and you'll see why your behavior, not your brain power, is the real secret to building wealth.
So let's start with a story. A tale of two guys, really. On one side, you've got Richard Fuscone, a Merrill Lynch executive with a Harvard MBA, the whole package. And on the other, you have Ronald Reed, who spent his life working as a janitor and a gas station attendant. Now, one of these guys ended up with an $8 million fortune, and the other, he went completely bankrupt. So, based on their resumes, who do you think was who? The answer's probably not what you're expecting.
Yep, it was Ronald Reed, the janitor. He just saved what little he could, invested it patiently in good companies, and then he just waited. For decades, he let compounding do its thing. This story perfectly nails the book's core idea. Finance isn't a hard science like physics. It's a soft skill, where how you behave is way more important than how smart you are.
Now, Ronald Reed's story isn't just about being patient. It's also about something we often forget to talk about. And that's our first big idea. The huge, huge roles of luck and risk.
Let's take Bill Gates, for example. He's the first one to admit he basically won the lottery. He just happened to go to Lakeside School, which, back in 1968, was one of the only high schools on the entire planet with a computer. The odds of that? Yeah, about 1 in a million.
But here's the thing. Gates had a best friend, Kent Evans, and by all accounts, Evans was just as brilliant, just as driven, and just as obsessed with that school computer. In fact, they were planning to go into business together. But Kent Evans also had to face a 1 in a million chance, just a very different kind.
You see, luck and risk, they're siblings, two sides of the exact same coin. They're this constant reminder that our lives are shaped by forces that are way, way bigger than just our own effort. For every single Bill Gates, there's a Kent Evans out there, someone just as talented who just got the short end of the stick.
And ignoring that risk, well, it often comes from this really dangerous impulse, which leads us to our next big idea, this social and psychological trap of always wanting more.
This exchange between two famous authors, man, it just captures this trap perfectly. So Kurt Vonnegut is at a party thrown by a billionaire, and he points out that this guy made more money in one day than Joseph Heller's masterpiece, Catch-22, had made in its entire history. Heller's reply? It's so profound. He says, yes, but I have something he will never have. Enough.
And this isn't some old-timey thing. Just look at these two modern examples. Two guys who had literally everything, but it still wasn't enough. Rajat Gupta was a former CEO worth $100 million. Bernie Madoff ran a hugely successful and legitimate business. They were at the absolute pinnacle, and yet they risked it all, their freedom, their families, their reputations, for money they absolutely did not need. All because they had no concept of enough.
So here's the crucial point, right? They risked what they had and what they needed for something they didn't have and definitely didn't need. That hunger for more just kept moving the goalposts, to the point where no amount of success would ever be satisfying.
And that desire for more often makes us completely misunderstand what wealth even is. This brings us to a super important distinction, the difference between being rich and being wealthy.
Okay, think about this paradox. It's so true. When you see someone driving a really nice car, you almost never think, wow, that person is so cool. Instead, what do you think? You think, wow, if I had that car, people would think I'm cool. See? We use their stuff as a measuring stick for what we want.
And that right there, that's the whole idea of being rich. Being rich is all about your current income. It's the stuff you can see, the flashy car, the designer clothes, the huge house. It's basically spending money to show other people how much money you have. But wealth is different. Wealth is hidden. It's the income you don't spend. It's the money you save and invest, the stuff that nobody sees. And that is what gives you options and flexibility down the road. So true wealth is really created by what you don't do. It's the nice car you didn't buy. It's the financial assets that haven't been turned into stuff yet. That's the real foundation of financial freedom. Okay, so if the whole point isn't just to buy more stuff, then what is wealth actually for? What's the end game here?
This is the ultimate payoff. The greatest thing money can buy isn't the luxury item, it's control over your own time. It's the freedom to wake up and say, I can do whatever I want today.
And hey, this isn't just some feel-good idea. The research totally backs it up. A psychologist named Angus Campbell found that having a strong sense of control over your own life, that's a way better predictor of happiness than your salary, the size of your house, or how fancy your job title is.
And this slide just breaks down what that control actually looks like in the real world. We're not talking about yachts here, people. We're talking about being able to take a sick day without panicking about money. The freedom to wait for the right job, not just desperately take the first one. And yeah, the power to retire when you want to, not when you're forced to.
So really, it all boils down to this one powerful question. With every dollar you save, with every dollar you spend, what are you really buying? Are you buying more stuff to show people how rich you are, or are you buying more control over your own life? Because as Morgan Housel makes crystal clear, that control, that's the highest dividend your money will ever pay.